for Business.
It is a signal to the world we are open for business.
We are now open for business. This is Cesar Vallejos bringing you yet another episode to guide you in discovering your passion and growing your business as we learn from experts in the field. Sama-sama tayong matuto sa isa na namang makabuluhang usapan tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng inyong negosyo. Ang Open for Business ay mapapanood nyo rin sa Facebook at YouTube. Siguraduhin mag-like at mag-subscribe sa aming social media page at Net25TV. Alamin natin, suriin mula sa mga negosyante, thought leaders at mga personalidad sa iba't ibang larangan ang mga strategies, trends at mahalagang karanasan sa pagninegosyo dahil tayo ay open for business. Fashion and business merge as we take you to the Moscow-Manila Creative Industry Summit, Fashion and Digital Technologies Business Forum, where global minds from the cities of Moscow and Manila thread creativity, commerce, and cultural diplomacy. It's not just about runways, it's about revenue, innovation, and international partnerships. Catch the business side of style only here on Open for Business.
On your way to success? Start with the best. New Era University, where we guide every individual to their natural state of excellence. Enroll now, because New Era University awaits the future we can build together. When a story starts with faith, it can only grow further and stronger. As time passes by, we learn about your story. In an institution of exceptional healthcare with genuine Christian compassion, we care about you. With a safe, secured, and sanitized environment, accompanied by a team of trusted healthcare professionals, we are built this way to serve you better. By providing affordable health services to general population, we want what's best for you. Because at New Era General Hospital, everyone matters.
We're not just talking about fashion. We're diving into how it drives economies, exports culture, and builds international bridges. Join us at the Moscow-Manila Creative Industry Business Summit, part of the Manila International Fashion Week, where creativity meets commerce in style. We'll get insights from keynote speakers and other personalities to help guide you as you venture into fashion as a business.
As the foreign designers arrive in the Philippines, we are so excited to have them here at Manila International Fashion Week. So they're so excited to showcase their collection. And I know naman na pinaghahandaan nila yung kanilang mga collection. And talaga mapaproud tayo being in the Philippines. Makikita natin ang collection na like from Indonesia, Malaysia, Russia. And this is so exciting and I'm very proud na nagagawa natin to sa Pilipinas. Kasi yung fashion, it is just part of being creative. So sa creative, we have the painters, we have the artists, the singers, we have a lot. So for me, let's expand those industry not just in fashion, but let's explore kung ano pa meron sa atin. Especially mga Filipino, napaka-talented natin when it comes to, like yun, sabi ko, singing, sports, arts, ang laki ng sakop being creative. For me, if you have the heart, to invite them, to help them, especially yung mga young ones, the emerging talents, for me, magagawa mo yun. Kasi ako naman, I never hesitate to approach people, especially, di ba right now, we have the Department of Trade and Industry, we have the Department of Tourism. So, I never hesitate to approach them and ask for their help, for them to be involved in this kind of event, especially in this summit and fashion show. So for me, basta maging totoo ka lang sa sarili mo and nandyan yung passion mo to help each other and uplift them. And ayun, for me naman, madaling makapag-encourage pag totoo ka at hindi ka nanloloko ng tao. This is just the start of this kind of event, the summit. We are planning to expand this more, invite more countries to join in this kind of summit because, in the creative industry, we can help a lot. We can discover more talents, and because I know there's a lot of talented individuals, not just here in the Philippines, but around the world. So just watch for our upcoming events, not just in the Philippines, but we are planning to expand. Like here in Manila, we are planning to expand in Cebu. So that's why we have the guests from Cebu Chamber of Commerce. They really love the idea of having this summit and fashion show as well. When you hear the country Russia, sometimes sa Philippines, parang iba yung nila, na akala nila suplado, akala nila there's kind of, war in Russia. But for me, if you are in Russia, parang sobrang tahimik. Tapos once to get to know them personally, ang sarap nilang kausap, napaka-business-minded nila, creative, madadala ka especially in mawawiden yung knowledge mo sa industry na to, lalo lang na sa fashion, film. That's why sobrang happy ako to bring them here in the Philippines. Kasi marami tayong ma-inspire and ma-introduce din sa mga Filipinos na ang mga Russians ay masarap din kaibiganin and masarap makatrabaho. They invited me again to go back to Russia this July because there's jewelry show. So they wanted also to introduce their product to the Philippines. That's why they are bringing me back to Russia. And aside from that, we have collaboration for Artmasters. They wanted to discover more talents here in the Philippines. And aside from fashion, and of course, filming. So they wanted to discover more like actors here in the Philippines, models. And it's the same thing. They wanted also to bring more talents from Russia to the Philippines. So that's our next projects and collaboration. For me, just continue your passion, do it from your heart, and continue to help others, not just for yourself, but yan ang pinapakiusap ko. Pagpatuloy natin yung pagtulong sa kapwa, and lalo nating pagtibayan and pag-igihan yung craft natin. So, study, meet a lot of people from different countries, different industry. So from there, lalo tayong matututo, lalo tayong ma-enhance yung skills natin and talent. So from there, lalo nating ma-achieve yung goal natin and yung mga dreams natin talaga magkakatotoo. Basta maging totoo tayo sa sarili natin, maging mabuting tao, and yun nga sa sinabi ko, wag nating kalimutang tumulong.
People will be coming from Cambodia, Laos, UK, USA, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, of course. So this is a milestone event for the creative and fashion industry. And I'm very happy that it's going to be held here in Okada, Manila. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Bench Bello of Manila International Fashion Week for this wonderful event.
So I noticed what you're wearing po. No, it's very unique. Can you share a little bit about it po?
Yes, I'm wearing a hand-painted modern Filipiniana dress from Kenny Ortega. I really loved it because I really want to promote Philippine tourism to other countries. And after hearing the summit a while ago, I am really looking forward to have more Russians and more foreign delegates from the Southeast Asian countries to visit our country. So it will boost tourism of the Philippines, and it's going to be very, very good for our country as well.
What is something that impacted you during the summit, and maybe you can share with us?
I think it's about the Philippine creativity, how the Filipino creative people, most especially in the field of fashion industry, are very competitive, and I believe they are world class and they can really compete in the global market. So this is a very good avenue for us to showcase the Filipino talent and creativity.
This is only the beginning. The challenge is the next, step, which we plan for the next year. And we wish also to do that not only in the Philippines but also in Moscow. So big dream, it's a big dream. But for now, I'm so happy that we are here and we done our job, and how the people reacted positively. Philippines is a highly potential market for Russian companies. Likewise, for Russian market, for the Filipino who wish to do business. But the challenge, we do understand that the trade between Russia and the Philippines, compared to other, ASEAN countries like Vietnam. Vietnam has about 10 billion and going to 15 billion by 2030. The Indonesia about maybe 8 billion, the trade, and we have about 600 million. So a lot of works on the ground, awareness. That's why we do this one, to create awareness for Filipino companies and Russian companies as well. So that's the best, step what we can do for now.
Napansin din namin na 'di ba parang may mga ilang pagbabatikos na hindi maganda ang performance ng turismo sa Pilipinas, na mas kailangan pa nating pagbutihin ang paghikayat ng mga negosyante mula sa banyagang bansa. So ito ba, kasi sinimulan nyo lang sa fashion, pero maganda naman dahil pagkakasabi nyo kanina, creative industry, so malawak ang creative industry. So paano ito makakatulong pa sa lalong pagpapalago ng ating ekonomiya at para mas lalong dumami din ang mga turista sa bansa?
Yeah, kailangan natin i-diversify yung traditional market natin. We cannot just rely to our traditional partners like USA, and now what happened? They raised their tariff to 17%. I met some of the Filipino company. They said they lost the market in USA. So we need to be diversified, not just USA, not just like Europe, but here we have Russian market, Eurasian market actually, which is open for business. So having said that, and then you start in creative industry, you created awareness about Russia, about Philippines relationships. I think that's the first positive move, and then susunod, business coming, they're interested, and then tourism are coming. Of course, the challenge, the barrier is the flight. Well, wala tayong flight from direct flight. Yeah, that's the challenge. I think it's just a matter of promotions, and then move more, not just waiting. We need the Department of Tourism to be there in Moscow, to represent. We don't have. Tulad ng Thailand, nandito sila, o kaya yung Thailand, tourist agency, nandun po sila sa Russia. You will see Thai agency, nandun po sila. Yung mga Philippines agency, wala po doon. Pero mga Thai, the Vietnamese, the Indonesian, you can see sa Expo. Aggressive tala. So we cannot wait. We have to act. But of course, siyempre, money, right? Investment, But we can be smart. We can do more promotions. Like like internet, where like social media, okay, like maybe translate our the website in Russian language, or something like. We can do smart things. It's digital now, okay. So again, it's more action. It's an ecosystem. It's a collaborations with all the sectors, and and being here and working with Mr. Bench, parang may hopeful na it can be done. So I'm happy here again with our partners, Mr. Bench. We will continue to work and we believe that we can make a difference step by step.
Ano po ang inyong mensahe sa mga maliliit na negosyo din, sa mga entrepreneurs para masuportahan din ang effort ng Manila Fashion Week para sila man ay makatulong din sa inyo or kayo din ay matulungan ninyo ang mga maliliit na negosyo dito sa Pilipinas?
Think, big, dream big, pero you have to work hard. Okay, find your, best partners. It's not easy to find the best partners, as you know, di ba? Pero it's not by accident. I met Mr. Bench, and of course we have a lot of talks. So just striving, and then hopefully we can do something. This is the start. Pero sa mga small and minor business, just keep working and then finding your niche, how you can promote your business, and that's it. I think so.
That I'm travel a lot and I see many countries. But when I visit first time Philippines.
Oh, it's your first time
First
here
time in Philippines.
How was the Philippines?
Oh, yes. I feel like at home.
Really?
Yes. I feel like at home. Every people smiling. Yes, very friendly. Yes, for me it's very, very exciting. Yes, be here, and of course as a nation it's very beautiful.
How important is it for ASEAN businesses to work together to achieve advancement, especially with technology?
Build a relationship between ASEAN countries. Of course it's very, very important. And as you know, for example, Russian Federation turn to the Asia, want to develop relationships between Russia and Asian countries. And of course in technology sphere, digital sphere. Digital and technology is like a part of creative industry. Yes, because you have animation, you have games, technologies, movies. The Russian Federation have many experience and knowledges in this sphere, and Russian can share this knowledge to Philippines also. Yes, because as I know, creative industry in Philippines grow very fast.
Yes.
7% year-over-year. It's very fast.
Really?
Yes, and 8 million people working in this sphere. Yes, it's very, very huge sphere.
What support systems or networks are in place for Southeast Asian entrepreneurs entering the Russian market?
When the Philippine companies enter, for example, to Russia, of course, they need to understand whom to contact. Russian and Asian, a little different. We need to understand each other. In this case, it's like a bridge between Asian countries and Russia. To much better to understand each other. That's it. Of course, we can help. We want help, and that's the reason we are here. This is the first step to understand us. And of course, we have a plan. We also have a plan. It's the next year. 2026 celebration diplomatic relationship between Russia and Philippines the next year, and in Cebu will be the summit of Asian countries, UNESCO destination place, and we are planning to organize summit of creative industry in the second year with collaboration with the Mandaue Chamber of Commerce. We signed MOU with them to make different events with collaboration with our partners in Philippines.
From a trade perspective, what industries beyond fashion hold promise in the Philippine-Russian economic relationship?
Right now, we have a lot of sectors and areas of our focus. So we're developing the cooperation in many sectors and fields. For example, pharmaceuticals. That's developing very, very fast. Russian companies already supplying their products here, their pharmaceutical products here, which is, by the way, needed in the market, like insulins, for example. Several companies, the biggest Russian companies, who are already here during the last 2 years, 13 Russian products and medicines got their certification in the local market. The other sectors are energy. So many opportunities can be developed, like Russian experience, Russian fuels, and the needs of Philippines to diversify the sources of energy can play together a great role. Another sector is agriculture and food security. So here's the same situation. Our goods and products and the needs of the local market can give benefits to both countries. You know, culture and people-to-people relations is the real base of the cooperation, any cooperation. So, of course, doing our job, meeting the people and talking to them, we're trying to create people-to-people bridges to make Philippines know more about Russian culture. And same here, we're bringing Philippine culture to Russia. Like that, we're becoming closer, and then it's much easier to build bridges and to develop the cooperation, even in the trade and economic field. Russia is focused on cooperation with friendly countries, and especially with Philippines. So we have quite a long history of relations, starting last century. And we here, by the way, the Trade Commission was opened just 2 years ago here. And that was done especially for Philippines, especially to develop trade and economic relations with Russia. And we here as an incentive to help Filipino business to find Russian partners, to go to Russia and to find new fields of cooperation.
What do you think should the Philippines focus more on with regards with this opportunity, learning from the Russian economy?
Energy, agriculture, pharmaceutical, medicines, healthcare, but also how do we do that in Moscow? But very important topic is IT and the digitalization. So this is the key sector right now in Russia. Even the World Bank just now announced that Russia is the most developed country in the digital government field. So, and we're ready to share this experience, ready to share our solutions with the Philippine partners. So this open great perspectives for both countries.
This portion is brought to you by iEquity Technologies Corporation, your total technology solutions.
Sa kasulukuyang henerasyon, marami na ang nag-viral. Dahil po yan sa kanilang ginagawang pagtulong sa kapwa. Pero mas marami ang tumutulong kahit walang nakakakita. Kaya naman kung ikaw ay may kilala na grupo o individual na may natatanging pagresponde sa lipunan at maging sa kalikasan, mag-text lamang sa 0915-415-1035 o mag-email sa responde@net25.com at magpadala ng mensahe sa ating Facebook page at Net25TV. Baka kayo na ang susunod nating Certified Key Responder.
Let's net together sa Net25. Sa Net25.
Open for Business is back, and I am now privileged to have in the show the Managing Director of Moda Kolos, Ms. Tatiana Medina. How are you, Ms. Tatiana?
Отлично дела. Мы уже немного познакомились с Манилой, впечатлены гостеприимством, приятными людьми.
That's great to hear, Ms. Tatiana. We know that there's a lot of countries in the world, and of course, we believe that the Philippines is at the forefront of fashion as well. Why did you choose the Philippines?
На самом деле есть предыстория нашего сотрудничества. Мы познакомились с основателем Manila International Fashion Week, талантливым дизайнером Bello на московском конкурсе. И с этого момента зародилось наше сотрудничество. Мы пригласили Бенча стать хедлайнером нашего ESG-фестиваля, который проходил в Ростове-на-Дону. И договорились о нашем международном сотрудничестве, о нашем совместных планах. И уже сегодня мы здесь.
That's very interesting, Ms. Tatiana. But my question now is, what do you think are the similarities in terms of fashion between the Philippines and Russia?
Очень разные.
Okay, that's good, which is very good.
It's very good. Я буквально вчера случайно увидела в торговом центре дизайнера, филиппинского дизайнера. И я была крайне удивлена коллекцией, которая была представлена. Я взяла, сфотографировала и опубликовала в Инстаграм, выразила свой восторг и отметила ее, на что она мне ответила, что спасибо, для нас это очень важно. Поэтому это очень интересно совмещение филиппинского стиля в дизайне и нашего российского. И в будущем мы очень хотели бы видеть филиппинских дизайнеров у нас в России.
With this observation that you have, do you think both Russian and Filipino designers can really create or come up with a hybrid fashion technique maybe or products that can be sold to the international market?
Россия очень богата культурным наследием и уникальной эстетикой. Это может быть очень интересно миру. В нашей стране много талантливых дизайнеров, которые ищут выход на международный уровень. И участие в подобных мероприятиях дает возможность показать российскую моду, и в том числе филиппинскую у нас, широкой аудитории, наладить связи и получить бесценный опыт. Поэтому мы видим большие перспективы в нашем совместном сотрудничестве.
We are not just talking here about designers. We are also talking about the raw materials. I'm sure you have seen our fabrics, our raw materials. What so far have you seen in terms of other opportunities where you can also tap into?
Конечно, наш проект приветствует медленную моду, устойчивую моду, поэтому нам интересны ткани из натуральных материалов, из настостойки.
Are there specific fashion trends in Russia or in the world that you will also share with the Filipino designers now?
Конечно же, мы хотели бы поделиться нашим культурным наследием. У нас очень красочный и многообразный дизайн национальный.
When you think of fashion, it is also used for diplomacy. So like food, when we talk of food, it could be gastronomic diplomacy. So is that also a way of the Russian government, private communities in Russia? Is that also your strategy to develop, strengthen the relationship of Russia and the Philippines through fashion?
Мы приехали с международной миссией строить мосты между странами через моду, креативные индустрии и культурный обмен. Второй этап – это мы хотим заключить соглашение с Bello о сотрудничестве по дизайнерам и моделям.
What's your vision for this partnership? What's going to be the next step? Is there going to be like a new product or a new industry or a new collaborative project that you will develop as the next step?
Конечно. Мы надеемся, что у нас получится договориться о создании международного конкурса, международного фестиваля короткометражного кино. Также в перспективе мы хотели бы рассмотреть программы обмена, где студенты российских вузов смогут стажироваться в Филиппинах, а филиппинские в России. Организовать менторство от ведущих дизайнеров и международный конкурс дизайнеров. Это поможет создать прочную платформу для укрепления культурных связей между Россией и странами Азии.
Wow, that is excellent. On behalf of Net25 and the Filipino people, would like to thank you. And if you have a message to the Filipino designers.
Мы очень гордимся нашим сотрудничеством между ASEAN и Manila International Fashion Week. Возлагаем большие надежды на наше укрепление связей в культуре и экономике. И надеемся на дальнейшее сотрудничество. Очень будем рады видеть дизайнеров и моделей из Филиппин у нас в России. И я верю, что вместе мы можем создать модный, новый полюс модной индустрии, доказав, что мода не имеет границ.
This is my third time in Manila, Philippines. I love Philippines. I love Manila very much. I love the people here. I love the food. So that's why I'm joining Manila International Fashion Week for this year.
Yeah, lots of good food actually.
Yes.
How did you find the Moscow-Manila Summit experience?
I do believe that this is an opportunity for me to share, not just to share, but also to learn from Philippines and Moscow.
You've worked across Southeast Asian countries, different Asian countries. So from your view, what can our region offer the global fashion industry?
For the global fashion, especially like in Philippines, I do believe that Malaysia and Philippines can collaborate very well, because what I can say that we are from the same region, and then we are similar but different. So we share some of the same identity too. So I do believe that to make it greater, we can combine the Southeast Asia, especially the fashion designer from Southeast Asia together, and then we go into the fashion world.
I like how you put it, a shared identity between the Southeast Asian region. That's very much true in a sense, right? Let's talk about fashion. How does couture help raise the profile of Southeast Asia in the global fashion scene?
I do believe that, especially for the pageant industry nowadays, it really helps our fashion industry. You can see there's an emerging industry, especially for the wedding gown, for the the gown for the pageant, like Philippines, like the country of Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand.
Is there more interest now in regional designs and craftsmanship?
10 to 20 years ago, it's more to the mass production, and now there are more and more people, they appreciate handcrafted fashion.
For young Filipino and ASEAN designers hoping to enter the global stage, what's your advice for building a successful brand?
The main thing is that you have to be brave enough to enter the market, and then don't forget to learn from the experts, especially those in the fashion industry. So learn from them. I do believe that we can go around the world, no worries.
Should they focus more on tradition or on trends? What can you say about that?
Actually, what I can say that it depends on the characteristic of the fashion designer. If you are you're more into the heritage, you just go for heritage. If you go for the modern one, you go for the modern one. What I mean is that the different style of the fashion designer, we need everyone. We need everyone.
Yes. Okay, Crizel, can you tell us a little bit about what Purple Hearts is?
A Purple Heart is a supplement and even a solution for picky eaters that are out there. For kids, teens, and adults, no matter what age you are, you can still have Purple Hearts, because since it's a healthy supplement, of course, it's made with real fruits and vegetables and extracts. And of course, Smarty Boost will help you with your brain. Mighty Boost makes you taller and stronger, and Immuni Boost for your immune system.
Wow, so even I myself can still take it. I'm already 22 years old. So it's made for picky eaters. You know, Crizel, I don't really eat lots of vegetables as well as fruits. What healthy benefits can Purple Hearts offer me?
Since it's made with real fruits and extracts of vegetables as well, fruits will help you by school performances, and of course it makes you have energy like that. And for Veggie Boost, it's for like your health, so it can be stable.
Who came up with the idea of Purple Hearts?
My family and I, because since there's many picky eaters of like
Are you a
kids,
picky eater?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not.
So far, how has the public's feedback regarding the Purple Hearts has been?
They say it's nice for their kids, and it's actually pretty helpful for even vitamins as well, if recommended by doctor.
Not a lot of kids your age do business. What motivates you to do this?
For the foundation, I just want to inspire people, many people actually, to say.
We are also just as excited as you and the organizers of the Fashion Week, bringing Russian creativity in the Philippine market. So far, what are your thoughts on the Russian perspective?
I think that actually the creativity and the culture has no borders, and it's very important for the creative person to be a visionary, and to be well observed. So you need to understand what's going on in the world, what trends, what cultures are doing different, and I was very excited about the invitation to this creative industrial summit in Manila, and I think it's very important to explain people in Philippines here in Manila, people who are integrated into the creative process, what's going on in Russia, what's about the Russian economy, because Russian economy is growing very fast right now, and the creative economy, Russian creative economy, it's a part of the whole economy, and it's an engine for the whole economy right now. And the creativity, it's also an engine for our life, for our today's life.
Is it your first time in the Philippines?
Yeah, it's my first time here, and it was a great pleasure and honor. I had a presentation about the Russian economy, about the key points of the Russian economy, and then I explained them, the audience, about the project. We call it Artmasters. I'm head of this project. This project is about people. It's a competition, and it's a competition of young people who want to become professionals in creative industries.
Wow. So when you say creative industries, I know that it encompasses a lot of things. It could be digital, it could be fashion, it could be visual arts. Is that how,
Actually,
am
yes.
I right there?
Yeah, the different versions of creative industries in different countries, fashion and digital arts and gaming and cinema and are the main parts of the digital industries. This classification of the industries is very important because we had issued a law, a federal law of creative industries by 5th of February this year in Russia, and it means that we now have the rules how to move in this creative economical traffic, and it's very important. It's underline all the industries and all the courses that we go in inside the creative economy.
Yeah, speaking of the creative industries in Russia, what do you think are the aspects or the sectors of that industry that you think Filipinos can take advantage of?
I think first is the cinema. Our cinema industry is growing very fast right now, and actually we don't have a lot of international brands right now on the market because of the situation, and they just went away. But it gave a good, big chance for Russian companies to produce domestic product. Right now we have a lot of good movies, very good movies and good series. And I think this experience we can implement or we can share with this case with the Philippines, how to build your own cinema industry. This is the first thing, and the second, I think we also can share with you with some digital arts.
You mentioned, Boris, about the contribution of the creative industry in the total economic performance of Russia. And what is good is that you said Russian economy has become so powerful as well because it's one of the most developed economies in the world. So if we can go back to this contribution of the creative industry, do you have somehow figures on its contribution to the Russian economy and how it can also be a sample of how the Philippines can also adapt to that kind of strategy?
If we're talking about growth of the whole economy, the creative economy now are more than 4%. And we have a plan to grow up to 6%. So we need more, 2% more. And actually it's a big move and a big challenge because we have to improve our economy in the regions Russia is a very big country. Actually, it's the biggest country in the world, and it's very important not to improve the economy only in the big cities, like in Moscow, St. Petersburg. You have to build economy on all territories. So this is I think the main problem and the big problem in Russia. And also we paying attention to the human resources. We are trying to involve a lot of young people to the creative professions. We trying to reboot the educational system in Russia and implementing new creative profession into the educational process.
Wow.
It's very important because educational, it's like a ground floor, it's like a basement for the creative skyscraper you want to build. If there is no education in your creative economy, there will be no growth. So we paying attention to the people, we paying attention to the regions, and of course the government is the main investor in the creative economy, and the government pays a lot of attention to the private sector, to the business, give money to them, and it means that our production and production is growing.
That's interesting, Boris. This is something ironic also because the Philippines is exposed to a lot of movies on the Western world, because you mentioned about cinema as well. Seldom that we really are exposed to Russian cinema. But what are these opportunities in Russian cinema that you think can be adopted by the Philippine market? Because as you know, we're so much exposed to Hollywood. Are there plans of any specific project where we can also do collaborations? Because you may not be aware, but Net25 has partnership with RT, with Russian TV, where they gave us access to news and information content and also some documentaries. And when I saw this, these are also in English. They provided us English materials, and then they're so good. But in terms of you coming here in the Philippines, showcasing the Russian creative industry, what are these maybe concrete steps or projects that the Philippines can take advantage of?
You have to pay attention to your cultural values. You don't have to be dependent on different economy and different brands. You have to build your own national product. First of all, and this is very important, when you bring your personal domestic cinema production, cinema industry, it will give a big growth to the economy. But it's not an easy step because, you know, it's easier just to buy rights from different countries, from Hollywood and from Europe, and just to show different cinemas. But you will never improve your economy if there is no national project. So start filming by yourself. Well, yes, you have to invest in this industry. Actually, you know, the history of Philippines is very big and very interesting. I was flying in a plane, I was reading about Philippines. There are so many interesting historical facts, starting from Magellan and so on.
Yes.
So you can make a lot of movies by yourself. And these movies will be interesting, absolutely sure, for the Philippine audience, and they can be interesting for the international audience as well.
Are you looking at potential collaborations? Can we do like collaborations together, especially you bringing maybe your technology?
Absolutely. The main technology, it is just people. And the main technology, it's your team. It's specialists that are doing this product. So I think the best way is just for our people, for our specialists, for our producers to come here and to share their experience in movie production, and we can show you how to build this industry. And I think this is the main point, because cameras and equipment, it's nothing. It's easier to buy. For example, we can see the cameras that are filming us, but there are two nice guys, or camera operators, that are standing behind them. This is the main point of
human resources.
This is the main point of my view on this creative economy.
We have different cultures, but what inspiration from the Russian creative industry can you share with Filipinos so that human resources here in the Philippines can also tap into this project called Artmasters?
The best inspiration that we can take in Russia is our history, a rich Russian cultural history, and we're taking a lot of things from there. In creativity in Russia, it's very important to have a critical thinking. It's your educational base. When you know a lot about what you want, what you like, what you love to do, you have to read about it, investigate it. The second thing is values. You have to love your country, you have to love your people, your tradition. You have to be open for the world. I started with the phrase that the culture and the creativity has no border. And I think this is the most important thing. That's why I'm here. I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, and it's very important for me because I'm getting richer now.
Wow, Boris, that's really very insightful, and what you mentioned, your key points are really also universal. It doesn't necessarily apply to us, but it can apply to various industries as well. And it's something that will strengthen the relationship between Russia and Philippines. Now that we are in the Fashion Week, so let's just go back a bit on the role of fashion in the creative industry. I know that you talk about cinema, you talk about the creative industry, but in terms of fashion, what is the role of fashion in the creative industry?
First of all, I want to say that the fashion is in top 5 growing industries in creative industries in Russia.
Wow.
Yes, it's getting a big value in economy, and I think the fashion is a language that can collaborate all over the world, because by the fashion or stuff design, clothes design, you can talk to other nations. It's easy language to explain what you think. I would be happy if some Philippine designers will come to Russia and show to our audience your design. Actually, I used to be a producer of Moscow Fashion Week for 5 years.
Wow.
Yes, I think fashion is a very important part of the creative industries, but it's a very hard part. Yeah, it's not easy to be a fashion designer because it's not an easy money. You have to love fashion if you want to work with it.
Every morning is a new story with Kada Umaga.
Your favorite morning show, ito po ang Kada Umaga!
Surprise performances, latest trends, expert hacks, and exciting games. Be ready to be part of the Kada Squad and enjoy your morning with Diana, Emma, and Pia. Kada Umaga, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, only on Net 25.
Let's get together, Sunnet 25. Sunnet 25.
Well, I'm Ate Sherry Lynn.
I'm your Tito Efren.
And I'm your Tita Cynthia.
And your Chef Mads.
Na nag-iimbita sa inyo tuwing Sabado at Linggo na laging subaybayan ang Ito ang Tahanan mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga dito lang sa Net 25. Meron din kaming Facebook page at YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Ito ang Tahanan!
Let's get together, Sunnet 25. Sunnet 25.
In today's rapidly changing business landscape, one thing is certain: the power of people. we're bringing you insights from the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Quezon City's General Membership Meeting, as we dive into the theme People Matter in Business, Insights from Top Employers. We talk with visionary leaders behind some of the country's respected brands to explore how valuing people drives innovation, loyalty, and long-term success. From food giants to coaching expert, we uncover what makes a workplace thrive and why putting people first is more than just good HR, it's good business.
The first direction that I received from my dad was, as a teacher, sabi niya, "Brutes, make these ordinary people perform extraordinarily." They're not high school graduate, but I think you have that experience to train them to perform extraordinarily.
Make these ordinary people perform extraordinarily.
So, ang focus naman more na training, sabi sa kanila, ang ginawa namin strategy is, we call it the team song, "You Raise Me Up." So that wordings applies to the organization. I have my own experience, education, backgrounds, work that I can share with them, and also these people that experience in their family. They may not be educated as I have formal education, but they are leaders in their own family. So when we share all those experiences as one family, we build one another until we go to the ladder and then realize that someone out there is guiding us.
So you invest a lot in training?
Yeah, training, and then yung malasakit approach. Napaka-importante sa isang organization, malasakit.
The people that you hire is the core of our company, of our business, of the community. Kami sa kumpanya namin, naniniwala ko that if you take care of your people, they will take care of your business. Kaya for so many years now, Speedy Jobs ang company namin ay nearly 3 decades na, magiging 30 years na siya next year. So ibig sabihin, talagang ang pag-aalaga namin, pag we valued our people, ganun na kami tumatagal din sa negosyo. So very important yun.
People matter po. So yung number one sa mga organizations ngayon ay tao. Hindi siya pwedeng mapalitan ng AI. Considering sa insurance, sa Royal Care po, yung lagi nga po sinasabi ng tatay ko na ang sales ay hindi mapapalitan ng AI. Kasi ang insurance po dito sa Pilipinas ngayon ay binebenta sa tao eh. Hindi pa po siya yung automatic na gusto magkaroon ng tao na product. Pero kundi kailangan pang i-persuade. So, yung takbo po ngayon ng insurance, talagang number one, kailangan ng persuasion. Yun po ay
face-to-face.
Yes po. Kailangan talaga ng personal touch ng isang tao para talagang matimpla niya yung tao kasi hindi po magagawa ng AI yun eh.
Some of the things come in naturally for some people. But others, they need to learn the skill to do it. Example, lahat tayo, one way or the other, lalo na yung mga business leaders, they are mentors. Hindi ho ba? You refer to them as, thank you for mentoring me. Because whether in a formal or informal setting, natututo tayo sa kanila. Diba? But there are people who might require to be better mentors. Diba? Who might require the skill. Ngayon, ang sinasabi natin kanina is, there are many ways to develop people. One of which is mentoring. The others include consulting, training, teaching, facilitating, and team building.
Well, ako, I always believe na tayong mga citizens, business owners, we are of course citizens of the world, diba? So whatever happens any part of the world will affect us. And in terms of business, kasi syempre in business you do movement of natural persons, tapos syempre yung movement of goods, ganyan. So if yung transaction mo is you do it globally, definitely you'll be affected. Kasi kung yung ating mga airports ay canceled yung flights, it can affect yung movement ng ating mga goods and services, especially if you export and import products and services in and out of the country. And syempre, security-wise, you don't want to do business kung ikaw nag-iisip ka ng expansion. Ayaw mo na mag-expand ka ng business in a place na pwedeng maging target ng war. Gusto natin talaga, we go for peace. Diba? So like for Philippines, syempre ang gusto natin sa business sector is syempre we adopt yung principle of international peace. So if we can help na wag siyang mag-escalate, and if the government can make a position na wala siyang papanigan, that would be better. Kasi wala tayong country na pwedeng ma-offend, and at the same time walang country na magagalit sa atin. Kasi yung time ngayon is not the time to make enemies. 'Di ba? Kasi mas marami kang enemies sa business, mas mahihirapan yung operations natin, and syempre yung ating mga consumers.
On your way to success? Start with the best. New Era University, where we guide every individual to their natural state of excellence. Enroll now, because New Era University awaits the future we can build together. Good vibes ba ang hanap nyo? Umagang puno ng tawanan, kwentuhan at saya. From food to fun, DIY to life hacks, we've got everything you love. Love, Tony Pet, and everything. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Net 25.
Let's get together. Sa Net 25. Sa Net 25.
Calling all young, independent, and professional creators. Great news! Cinebata 2025 is extending its deadline. You now have more time to submit your short videos, animations, or documentaries that reflect this year's theme, the magic of peace. Extended deadline for submission of entries is on July 25, 2025. No registration fees required. For details, visit or contact the following.
And our buzzword for the week is smart textiles. It refers to materials with embedded electronics such as sensors, actuators that enable them to detect and respond to external stimuli. This summit showed us that fashion isn't just aesthetics, it's economics, diplomacy, and opportunity. The Moscow-Manila collaboration is a powerful example of how countries can stitch together common interests through the creative industries and weave the future via new technologies. For MSMEs, creatives, and entrepreneurs watching, remember, where there's culture, there's commerce. And in a world of ideas, partnerships are the new power suits. And with that, our quote for the week is, the future of fashion is not about technology replacing designers, but about how designers can use technology to create new forms of beauty. That's according to the co-founder of the fabricant, Amber J. Slutin. Maraming salamat sa isang oras na pagsama sa amin upang tunghayan ang isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan nyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us too on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25TV. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines. Sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you're informed and open for business. Ito po si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.